Hey there, Math 1. So let's go ahead and dive into quadratic functions, but this time we're only adding and subtracting polynomials. So just a short break from the quadratic formula and finding those zeros with factoring or using the quadratic formula. We're just going to be basically combining like terms in a way and adding and subtracting polynomials. But don't worry, the easy day only lasts one day. For tomorrow, we're going to be right back into word problems, or the next day, depending on whenever you watch this video. Anyways, moving on. First, I want to start with putting them in order based on their degree. So it's going to be in your best interest on the particular problems throughout the adding and subtracting is to make sure that they are in order per se. So like the one with the highest degree or really the highest exponent goes first. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I am going to look for the highest exponent. So I see that my highest exponent is to the fourth power here. And then I have a third, so 1. This will go second, third. This has an invisible 1 in there, so it would go fourth, and then fifth. So I'm basically just going to rewrite these and put them in order. Okay, so 3y to the fourth power would go first. Okay, second would be positive 2y to the third power. And then as you notice, like I'm taking whatever sign it is with it. Okay. Then third is positive y to the second power. Fourth, I'm going to say subtract 7y. And then fifth is going to be subtract 4. Okay, so as you can see, my exponent should be going down in descending order or decreasing. Should be going down to no exponents. Because technically, let me blow y'all's mind for a second. The last one is y to the 0 power, because remember, anything raised to the 0 power is 1, and 4 times 1 is equal to 4. So just thought I'd blow your mind there for a second, but we don't necessarily need to worry about why that is the case. So again, I'm going to look for the highest exponent. In this case, there's a 4. Ooh, this time we have a 5. So here's my highest exponent. So I'm going to write x to the 5th power out first. And again, I'm just writing x to the 5th because it was positive. Another method is to kind of cross them off as you go. Okay, now we have 9x to the 4th. Let's look for an x to the 3rd power. Ooh, right here. Subtract 8x to the 3rd. Subtract 2x to the 2nd. Plus 7x. And then minus 4. Okay, so that was just kind of rewriting them in order before we really dive into adding and subtracting. So buckle your seatbelts because it could get a little difficult for the next one, but we'll see. Okay, so we have polynomials added to another polynomial. So because it's a plus sign, well, first I'm going to make sure it's in descending order. So my highest exponent is listed first and then my lowest. Okay, so we're all good there. And then it's basically kind of like you're combining like terms in a sense. Really, that's all it is. So we have, I'm going to write the first one, x squared minus 4x plus 3. And then I'm going to write the second one right underneath. 3x squared, ooh, that was supposed to be written in pink, but it'll be okay, minus 5. And it was adding, so I'm going to put it was adding, did it change colors? Nope. There. It was adding, so I'm going to put my plus sign out there, and then I'm just going to literally add these or combine like terms. So there's an invisible 1 hanging out here. So 1x squared plus 3x squared. I'm only adding my coefficients or the numbers in front of my my variables. So it is 4x squared. I have negative 4 plus negative 3, so that's negative 7x. Again, leave your variable the same. Then I have positive 3 minus 5. So again, that's positive 3 minus 5 or positive 3 plus a negative 5, and that's going to give me a negative 2. Okay, let's go ahead and clear the screen and try another one. Okay, the next one, again, we're in luck. This one is already in order, but as you can see, there's a subtraction sign instead. So let's go with the top one first. Why is my colors not changing? Okay, so 8x squared minus 12x plus 4. I'm going to write the second one underneath. 3x squared plus 5x minus 1. And I'm going to subtract those this time. Okay, 8 minus 3 is 5x squared. Negative 12 minus 5. Again, that's negative 12 minus 5, so I can think of plus a negative. It'll give me negative 17x, and then I have 4 minus negative 1. So 4 minus negative 1 changes into a positive 5. Okay, so there's one way to do your there's one way to do your subtraction. I am going to show you another way as well. So you could, if you wanted to, distribute that subtraction sign through. So with that being said, I'm going to erase this over here off to the side. And let me walk you through that. So this would become a negative 3x squared, a negative 5x, okay, and then a negative times a negative 1 would be a positive 1, okay, and then we can look at it as adding if you wanted to, and then we can add the 8x squared minus 12x plus 4. And we're going to get the same thing because a negative 3 plus an 8 is 5x squared. Negative 5 plus negative 12 is negative 17. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So if you like adding better, you could distribute that subtraction sign, or really what's saying is a negative 1 out in front. Through if you would like to, and then use adding to simplify. That is also an option that is available. Okay, let's go through a couple more here. Okay, this one unfortunately is not in order. So the first step that you all need to take is putting them in order. So my first set of parentheses, I need 7x squared out front plus 2x and then subtract 3. On my next set of parentheses, I need the negative 9x squared out front plus subtract 2 and then the positive 3. Okay, I don't like the subtracting way. Is not one of my favorites. It's not one that I prefer, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute that subtraction sign through because I would prefer to add. So when that happens, that technically turns into a negative times a negative would be a positive 9x squared. Negative times a negative would be a positive 2x and then subtract 3. And then from there, I'm able to add what my first set of parentheses was, which was 7x squared, a positive 2x, and a negative 3. Okay, 9 plus 7 is 16. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6. There is simplified, and I am done with that particular problem. Okay, here we are here. They're already in order, but as you can see, this one's just a little bit tricky because something kind of is missing, but we'll get to that in just a second. Let's go ahead and distribute that subtraction sign on through. So negative 5x squared and then negative 4 is what it's really going to be. Okay, and so all I'm doing is taking the 7x squared plus 3x, and I'm going to add what I just changed. So negative 5x squared, and oops, I forgot the x on this one. Okay, now I'm going to skip a place because there's technically 0x in this next one, and then put on the subtract 4. And here's why, just be very careful not to line those up. Technically, there's nothing out here. So 0 plus negative 4 is negative 4. 3 plus 0x is 3x. And then 7 plus a negative 5 is 2x squared, and then this was positive. So your final answer is there, and you are done with that problem. Okay, we have 2 more and we are done, so just bear with me. On this one, they are in order. Again, just be very careful of if something happens to be missing. So it is, we're adding, or there's the plus sign there. So I'm going to take the 3x squared minus x plus 3. I'm going to add the second part on. 4x squared, skip that spot, and then do my subtract 5. And technically, when you're skipping, you're adding 0, whatever is there. Okay, let's go ahead and add those. So 3 plus 4, my final answer would be 3 plus 4, which is 7x squared, negative x plus 0 is negative 1x, and 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. Okay. So we are done. There's no combining the like terms. That's as simplified as it is going to get. And last one here, guys. Okay. So this one, be very careful because it is not in order. So I'm going to keep my 5x squared, or to the third power cubed, out there. And I'm going to add 2x to the second power. Subtract x and plus 4. Now it is in descending order, or highest to lowest. Then I'm going to keep my plus sign there, and 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Okay, so all of this here was adding. Put my parentheses back there just so I don't lose you all or confuse you. Now let's take my first term. So I'm not going to distribute that negative or that subtraction sign through the negative 1 because it was addition, so everything just stays the way it is, because I would be multiplying 1 all the way through. So let's take my top term, or my top set, 5x to the third power plus 2x to the second power, subtract x, and then add 4. And then my next set is 3x squared minus 4x. I caught myself. Let's line them up correctly. 3x squared, and that would be positive, minus 4x plus 1, and we are adding in this case. That was a crappy looking line. And let's find our answer. So 5x to the third power, technically plus 0x to the third power, gives me just 5x to the third power. 2x squared plus 3x squared gives me 5x squared. Negative 1 plus negative 4x squared, so negative 1 plus a negative 4 is negative 5. X, I don't know where I got the x squared from. And then 4 plus 1 is 5, and there's my answer. So today we are just adding, kind of combining like terms unless you are subtracting them. And then you have the option to actually do the subtraction with all those negatives, or you can distribute that negative 1, quote unquote, through the parentheses, like the distributor property, and then combine your like terms from there. But as always, make sure that your expressions or whatever's inside that parenthesis is in descending order, decreasing order, highest to lowest. And then as always, I'm available if you would need any assistance on this assignment after watching this video. And I'm a private comment on Google Classroom away, or you can shoot me an email, just whatever you need. I'm here to help support you, just that you gotta let me know.